Okay, so in the past, I said that I would destroy religious stupidity in the future. But I also said that the way I would do this would appear so weird, so strange, that the people would not be able to figure out what the hell I'm doing. And that's the whole point. I want the people to label me as insane. So if the people go through my content, they're forced to reach that conclusion. They'll say, well, either he's not serious or he's insane. Now, why am I doing this? Of course, I don't have 24 hours to spend on a cam to explain it because it's complicated, okay? So I'm going to try to break it down to something that everybody can understand. So I spent my entire life in strip joints, okay? And let's say a priest goes into a strip joint while I'm there. The people, they're not going to have the same reaction to me as they have to the priest, okay? So for everybody that, that spend their life in bars, everybody knows that everybody there, they know each other. Everybody knows what you do in life and all that. So, for example, let's say I'm driving my cab, because I drove trucks and I drove taxis in my life. So you had a hard night, you go sit at the bar and you ask, you're going to say something like, man, it's been a hard night, just give me a beer, I need to relax, right? So the person at the bar already knows what you do because you just said, you had a hard night and you explained what you did. And it's the same for the truck drivers, the taxi drivers, the construction guys, and all of that. Now, of course, it's going to be different if the person is a spy and he has a secret identity, but there's not too many spies in strip joints and in discos, you know what I mean? At that time, anyway. Unless the guy is, like he's there undercover to get a guy that's selling drugs or something like that. Okay, so everybody is the same. So the person is going to come and talk to me and the conversation is going to be normal. But if that person goes to talk to the priest who's in the strip joint at the same time as me, it's not going to be like that. The person is going to be wearing a mask, okay? Because he thinks that he's going to be judged by the priest. Even if that's not that type of priest, which is rare because usually that's the entire history of religion, right? That's why Jesus said, don't judge people. Because if you judge people, and you don't even have to just judge people, right? If they even feel that you're going to judge them, they're going to put their mask on immediately. They're not going to be open with you. And you cannot believe the things that people have told me in my life because they knew that I didn't judge people. Now, it doesn't mean that I agree with everything they told me, okay? But I didn't judge them because I understand human nature, and I have my own, my own fantasies. And after all, I spent my life in strip joints, I'm not going to go judge people. So wearing the label as preacher, so I can't bring the people back to Christianity wearing the label of a priest or a preacher or something like that, because up to now, the only thing that this has created is hypocrite. It's a hypocrite, an army, a world of hypocrites where everybody's wearing a mask, right? Because like I said in the past, Christianity did not start with Jesus. It started with John the Baptist, okay? And the people went to him, they confessed their sin, then they got baptized. And the important thing there is not that they got baptized. That means nothing, okay? It's that they confessed their sins publicly. And like when you go to AA meetings and you say, you finally say, yes, I'm an alcoholic. I got a problem with booze, okay? And that's when you heal. So it's the same thing with Christianity. You say, yes, I did something wrong and I'm ready to repair that, okay? Like let's say you stole $20 from somebody. You say, here's $50, man, And that's that's in the gospel there. If you take the time to read the gospel, that's in the gospel. But right now, I don't have the time to attack religious stupidity, because I have to spend more time attacking narratives on social media. Because what's going on social media right now is that capital, like Karl Marx talked about capital, they're creating like one narrative. Like, I spent hours on social media studying every post, okay? So it's always one crisis, then one narrative. So everybody's talking about the same thing. So everybody is reacting to the narrative. They're not creating their own narrative. So the people, they have no more creativity now because they don't have time. They're reacting to the narrative that's on social media. That's why the music is so bad, the movies is so bad, everything is so bad. The people lost their creativity, their inspiration. So, like, I gotta spend more time attacking narratives on social media than attacking religious stupidity, okay? But I will still come on cam once in a while and explain little things, and sometimes just a little seed that I plant makes other people think, and then they go on social media and they expand to what I just said, okay? Like, I'll give you an example, okay? Freedom of religion. Like, these are all the things that I have to attack, okay? Like yesterday, I made a video about Mike Huckabee saying that Christians thank Israel for giving them a moral foundation. And I said, no. That's what he's trying to sell. But Christianity already existed before the earth was created. Okay? Christianity comes before the Jews. It comes before the humans. It comes before the world. Because there's a spirit world that exists out there. Okay? God is not a human. God is a spirit. And everybody who believes in God, that's strange. They don't seem to understand that, right? They all say they believe in God. They think God is a human or something like that. God is a spirit, and his first creation was his son, Jesus. Okay? And Jesus came to speak to Moses on the mountain. But anyway, I explained this in a video yesterday. But so I attacked the religious stupidity of Mike Huckabee. Okay? So I did my little part there. So I'm going to do my little part of attacking those who believe in freedom of religion, because that makes no sense. Where does Jesus in the Bible speak about religious freedom? He said, I am the way. That's it. There's one religion, there's one path. He said, I am the path. Okay, so there's no freedom of religion. Where does freedom of religion is going to lead people? It's going to lead people preaching their own religion, and it's going to lead to a house divided. Exactly what Jesus said, right? A house divided cannot stand. And what religion are people going to pick? They're going to pick the easiest religion, because Christianity is the hardest religion on earth, okay? Because showing the other cheek, okay? People they're confusing this with weakness. There's a lot of confusion about that, okay? Show the other cheek. I'm going to explain that later, but for now it doesn't matter. But like, having been in bars, right? So it's a lot easier to punch somebody in the head when the guy is going to insult you than just to say, yeah, okay? Like, you just say, that's harder, okay? So an eye for an eye, right? The Jews have been living under that for like 6,000 years. That's easy, an eye for an eye. But to forgive people, that's harder, okay? And that's why Jesus said, you have heard of an eye for an eye, and he changed that. He didn't change it because it wasn't like that in the beginning in the first place. It's just because of human nature, like law, right? There was no prison in the past. There was no judges. There were no lawyers. These are all things that come as a reaction to what people do. Okay, so if people commit crime, then you need a judge, you need a lawyer, and stuff like that. If people don't commit crime, then you don't need all this. Okay, so religious freedom is, yes, it's like a lot of people, like intellectuals that studied social science and things like that, and Karl Marx and everybody, they tried to find a solution to this problem of religious, not just stupidity, but religious, like, insanity. Because let's not forget that when Jesus came, people were stoning people, okay? You want to be stoned? Like, I spent my life downtown Montreal. Do you think I want to see a prostitute get stoned? No. But that's what they did. And they were committing sins also. So, a lot of people, they tried to find a solution to this insanity, right? So, some came up with, let's say, the Bolsheviks, no more religion. France, the separation of church and state, secular, whatever, okay? The US, freedom of religion. But all this is not working. We can see in the world right now that nothing is working. That's why Jesus said, I am the way. There can only be one religion, so that there is no house divided, so that we're all united. Okay? But it cannot be just any religion, because people, it's like I said in the past, the British law is superior to the French law. So we have to go with the British law, because that's the one that makes more sense, right? A man is innocent until proven guilty. People have fought for that for 1,000 years. And even the French have fought for that, because England is not really English. I mean, everybody invaded everybody over there. And the final result is what we have now. Although now they have a serious problem. They want to go back 6,000 years there. So, as we chose British law, because that's what makes the more sense, right? The justice system has evolved to that. It's the same thing with religion. The top religion, the most advanced religion in the world, is Christianity. Jesus is the way. And that's got to become the religion on the entire planet. But for this to happen, every little lie, but I don't like to say lie, because, like, freedom of religion is not a lie. It's people that try to find a solution to this problem of religious fanatics who want to kill everyone, who want to kill everyone who doesn't think like them, okay? And that's not going to do anything. So, if I want to reach normal people, like people who are insane, people who are in BDSM, there's all kinds of people in the world, okay? And they don't want to be judged. That's what I'm saying here, okay? And there are people who are insane also, right? And they want to speak to someone that is insane also, because that's how the connection is going to be made. So if I'm insane, maybe I'm going to reach a couple of people who are insane and bring them to Jesus. You understand what I mean?